shouldn't be too much, shouldn't be too little, but your car can't adapt. Your car's engine doesn't get bigger and stronger and faster the more you drive. I know that would be awesome for you to experience, or your
Oh
your
my
motorcycle.
gosh.
The tires don't grow the more you ride your motorcycle, whereas we have all experienced our bodies adapting with appropriately dosed stress. Now, sometimes we experience some setbacks when that dose gets a little too high, and sometimes we atrophy a little bit when that dose gets a little too low. But over the course of the lifetime, that's one of the fundamental ideas here. But there is some underlying truth to some wear in the joint, but that's not the sole story. It's not an adequate explanation for this. And so what I mean is that one of the hallmark findings in a lot of joints with osteoarthritis, people experiencing osteoarthritis, is some cartilage loss in the joint. Cartilage is this smooth surface that's on the end of the bones, in between where the bones come together to form a joint. But osteoarthritis is not just a disease of cartilage. That is historically how it used to be thought of. It was just
Mhm.
the severity of your osteoarthritis. We could just measure it in terms of how much cartilage you have. And over time, it gets worn and worn and worn away. And then you would hear this phrase over and over again, quote unquote, bone on bone. And
Hold on,
that's a pretty
bone.
catastrophic kind of thing to hear, because then, combined with the aches and the pains and the stiffness, and maybe you have a little crepitus or the snaps, crackles, and pops in the joints, and that scares you, and you want to use your joint less and less. You become less active, your health declines, and then ultimately, maybe if you're lucky, you might be a candidate for a joint replacement surgery at that point. But even then, it's not a guarantee that you're going to have a perfect outcome on the other side of that. We've updated our understanding nowadays and recognize that osteoarthritis is a condition that affects the entire joint, not just the cartilage, but the bones, the ligaments, the joint capsule or synovium, and all of the muscles around the joint are also impacted directly or indirectly by this condition. And as a result of all of that, it fundamentally has impacts on the entire person. And so rather than viewing it as just a cartilage problem, we view it as a problem of the whole joint, or indeed the whole person.